7 of the 11 pink salt brands reviewed by independent EPA certified labs did not meet purity standards. That rosy color people pay $10 a pound for, it may come from industrial iron oxide, the same type of pigment used in mining work. No special mineral advantage. No ancient clean salt story. Just smart packaging around low-cost bulk rock that can change quietly whenever a cheaper supplier gets the deal. For 2 years, the lab results were sitting in public EPA records, while wellness influencers continued promoting the very brands that failed. The brands with verified certificates of analysis follow a harvesting process that much of the industry sees as too costly to use. In the next 15 minutes, we will look at the 7 brands to remove from your pantry and the 4 that truly passed. Number 7 is private label gourmet store salt. Whole Foods, 365. Target Good and Gather, Kroger Private Selection, and Trader Joe's all sell the same kind of promise. The package suggests something special, with natural colored labels, words like artisan, and language that makes you picture careful harvesting and old world tradition. But the buying process tells a very different story. The store chain is not running a salt mine. It is not tied to one steady source. It is not ordering its own independent lab review for every supply line. Instead, it places its brand on bulk pink salt that can come from whichever supplier offers the lowest price when the next contract is signed. You are not buying a carefully selected salt. You are buying an unknown rock salt product that can change quietly whenever the purchasing team finds a cheaper source. That also makes recalls difficult to connect to exact production lots. Iodine fortification is not included, leaving a known gap in an important thyroid nutrient. Anti-caking ingredients are often used, but that detail is not what shoppers see first on the front of the package. Number 6 is Badia Pink Himalayan Salt. Badia presents itself as an affordable, familiar spice brand, the kind many shoppers recognize near the Latin and Caribbean food section. But the available lab record does not show a published third-party heavy metal panel for this specific product. The brand depends mostly on the pink color to suggest mineral value and clean sourcing. There is no certificate of analysis supporting the wellness message on the package or the company website. The color that raises the price comes from iron oxide, which may be interesting from a geological point of view, but it does not add meaningful nutrition. When color becomes the main proof of quality, the shopper is paying for appearance instead of a true health benefit. The shaker package lets moisture reach the salt more easily, which can lead to early clumping. Customer service does not provide clear answers to direct consumer testing questions. Mineral language appears in the marketing, but not as a verified nutrition claim on the label. Number 5 is Great Value Pink Salt from Walmart. Great Value presents itself as simple savings, the practical choice instead of higher-priced specialty brands. But the product design points to one main goal: offering the lowest shelf price possible. The grind is coarse, which can leave more insoluble rock sediment in each serving. That residue is not considered dangerous, but it does show how much has been invested in quality control. While Great Value does not pass the basic transparency test, wait until we get to the number 1 salt on the clean list, because that brand uses a marine sourcing process that changes the cost structure of this whole category for now. The key point is simple. Pink salt at this price level is a poor trade. It costs more than iodized table salt, but it has no iodine and no strong testing transparency. Small hard rock pieces may chip tooth enamel when they hit the grinder directly. The package is thin polyethylene, which can allow pantry odors to move into the salt. Walmart does not share the supplier name or country of origin with shoppers. Number 4 is PinkSalt, sold in plastic grinders. The promise is ease and freshness. That fresh, cracked seasoning feeling right at the table, but the design is usually a low-cost plastic mechanism rubbing against rough salt crystals again and again over the life of the product. That friction can release tiny plastic particles into the food just before you eat it. This is one of the least discussed microplastic exposure points in the spice cabinet, and it is also one of the simplest to avoid. A glass jar, a refillable ceramic grinder, or a steel grinder can solve the problem for under $15. Plastic grinder containers are built to be thrown away, not used as long-term refillable tools. Light exposure through clear plastic can speed up breakdown into the salt. Low-quality grinding parts also dull quickly, creating uneven salt pieces. Number 3 is Sherpa Pink Himalayan Salt. San Francisco Salt Company presents Sherpa as a higher-end version of PinkSalt, a trusted artisan option for serious home cooks. But the lab record is publicly available, and the results showed measurable lead, cadmium, mercury, and arsenic in samples sent to independent third-party labs in 2024. Later testing in 2025 caused the product to fall off several independent safer choice lists. The levels were still below federal action limits, so this is not a recall issue. But the reason people pay extra for premium pink salt is the belief that they are buying something cleaner and more carefully verified. The public lab documents for this specific brand show that even in the premium tier, mined Himalayan salt can carry the same kinds of elements found in mined rock. The brand has not promised a public routine retesting schedule. The marketing language was not updated to reflect the 2025 lab findings. Bulk bag versions leave out the certificate of analysis reference codes that appear on retail packaging. Number 2 is McCormick Pink Himalayan Salt. McCormick is the established spice name, the kind of brand many American families have trusted for decades. But when this specific product is judged by lab documentation, the proof is missing. McCormick does not provide batch-level certificates of analysis for heavy metals on its pink Himalayan salt. Shoppers are paying extra for the familiar name, while the salt itself comes from the same broad Punjab supply chain that also serves lower-priced products. The long-standing brand reputation does not add analytical clarity to what is inside the jar. And while McCormick does not pass the verification test, remember this point, because the number 1 salt on the clean list uses a private single-source harvesting system that makes batch-level tracking part of the process by design. This product is packaged by contract, not processed inside McCormick-owned facilities. The glass jar version sells for almost 3 times the price of the plastic refill size. Most current labels do not include a clear allergen or cross-contact statement. Number 1 is Kirkland Signature Pink Himalayan Salt from Costco. Kirkland presents itself as the warehouse club version of purity, a large volume choice that promises premium quality at member pricing. But Costco's buying system depends on rotating supplier contracts. The pink salt in your Kirkland grinder this year may not come from the same mine, the same processor, or even the same geological area as the bag you bought last year. Costco does not release heavy metal testing panels for each batch. The salt is purchased for low unit cost and a consistent look, not for lab-verified purity. That means shoppers are paying for a premium image on a product bought under cost efficiency rules, which is the opposite of what the wellness price suggests. Large grinder bottles are sealed, so shoppers cannot inspect the salt before buying. The return policy only helps active Costco members, not people who receive it as a gift. The product can change quietly whenever Costco switches suppliers. 3 simple home checks. Before we get to the 4 brands that are worth their price, here are 3 quick ways to examine any salt sitting in your kitchen tonight. Each one takes under a minute, and together they reveal most of the wellness claims used in this aisle. Test 1 is the verification check. Turn the container around and study the back label. Look for a QR code, a batch number, or a website link that takes you straight to a current third-party certificate of analysis for lead, cadmium, mercury, and arsenic. The report needs to match the batch, not just a broad statement from the company. If that documentation is not there, or if it is unclear, the brand is selling the look of purity instead of proof. Testing records are the strongest signal in this whole category. And when they are missing, that tells you a great deal. Test 2 is the grinder check. Look closely at the top of the jar. If the grinding part is plastic, put it back on the shelf and move on. Plastic rubbing against hard salt crystals can release tiny polymer particles into your food with every turn. And there is no benefit to that trade-off. Ceramic and stainless steel grinders solve the issue. And they cost less than 2 containers of premium salt. This one change removes one of the most easily missed microplastic sources in the typical kitchen. Test 3 is the use check. Read the mineral claim on the front of the package. If the label says 84 minerals, do the math before trusting the message. The trace amounts in PinkSalt are so small that meaningful mineral intake would require 7 to 100 teaspoons of salt a day, a sodium level that would have immediate effects on the body. This is the industry's shield. The brands are not saying their salt is clean. They are saying you use so little of it that the contamination level does not matter. That is not a purity argument. It is a numbers argument. They are relying on your small serving size to excuse the heavy metal burden in the supply chain itself. Now comes the turning point. Buy now. You may be asking whether any salt can truly be considered safe, or whether this is just another grocery category where the marketing has moved far ahead of the science. The answer is more specific than the wellness world usually admits. No salt on Earth tests at 0 for every heavy metal. The Earth's crust naturally contains lead and arsenic, and mined or evaporated salt can collect trace amounts. That part is geology, not a company scandal. The real difference between brands is not whether trace contamination exists. The real difference is whether the company pays for independent lab testing, shares the results, and allows the shopper to check the numbers. The next 4 brands made that choice. The 7 we just covered did not. The answer to cleaner salt begins with a quiet coastal operation in Oregon. And it may change how you think premium salt should look. Number 4 is Baja Gold Sea Salt, solar harvested by natural evaporation from the Sea of Cortez. This is the kind of claim the pink salt category wants to make honestly. The harvesting method uses only sunlight and wind, relying on time and nature instead of the heat and machinery used in large industrial salt operations. The result is a salt with a notably lower sodium chloride level and a trace mineral profile that PinkSalt brands often promote but rarely prove. Baja Gold makes both its mineral panel and contamination data available to the public, which is the most important step any salt company can take in this market. Its natural moisture helps keep the crystals soft and easy to pinch by hand. It is gathered from an estuary protected from industrial runoff and shipping route discharge. And its sustainable harvesting supports a small fishing community on the Baja California Peninsula. Number 3 is Malden Sea Salt Flakes. This salt is hand-harvested in Essex, England, into pyramid-shaped crystals through a traditional method that has stayed the same since 1882. Its texture stands apart in the finishing salt category, with a crystal structure requested by some of the most demanding kitchens in the world. But texture alone is not why Malden earns this place. The lab results are the reason. Recent independent third-party testing showed non-detect results across the standard 4-metal panel, placing Malden in a very uncommon position in this industry. A heritage producer using the same process for more than 140 years is now also one of the cleanest lab-verified salt brands available, confirmed by testing labs with no commercial connection to the company. The pyramid-shaped crystals dissolve quickly, giving stronger flavor with less salt. It is recognized in British culinary heritage and fine dining. And the family-owned company still has 4th-generation operators directly involved. Number 2 is Diamond Crystal Kosher Salt, made in Michigan. This is the biggest surprise in the entire investigation, because Diamond Crystal is not a wellness brand, does not sell itself with mineral claims, is not pink, and costs far less than premium salts. It is the salt professional kitchens across America keep close by. It dissolves cleanly, seasons evenly, and has served as a trusted kitchen standard for decades. When independent labs tested this product for heavy metals, the results came back non-detect across all 4 metals. Most shoppers pass by Diamond Crystal because the box looks plain and practical, and because the product does not need a story to sell it. The data makes the argument by itself. Its hollow pyramid crystals cling well to meat surfaces, helping reduce seasoning waste. The familiar red box has stayed nearly the same for more than a century, and the salt is made with the Alberger evaporation process, which is rare in modern salt production. Number 1 is Jacobsen Salt Company, harvested from Natarts Bay on the Oregon coast. This is not the brand most wellness influencers talk about. It does not depend on luxury pricing, and it does not usually show up in polished lifestyle posts. But it is exactly the kind of brand the lab results quietly point toward each time independent testing comes back. Jacobsen uses a single source harvesting process from one protected bay, drawing seawater through several stages of filtration before evaporation. That kind of system adds operating costs that much of the salt industry considers too expensive to support. Its transparency is built into the process, not added later as a marketing message. You can identify the bay, the method, and the team behind each bag. There is no changing list of suppliers, no seasonal purchasing contract, and no unknown middleman hidden in the chain. One source, one method, one team, with clear traceability. It was the first American finishing flake salt producer, founded in nearly 100 years. It is harvested from a federally protected marine reserve known for clean shellfish waters. And it is used by Michelin-starred restaurants and some of the most exacting kitchens in the world. Conclusion: the brands on the skip list are not acting outside the law. they are not breaking an FDA rule. In most cases, their heavy metal levels stay below the amount that would require a Proposition 65 warning per serving. The wellness image is legal. The mineral claims can be defended on technical grounds. The higher price is allowed. These companies have found the flexible spaces in the labeling system and used them in a way that is efficient, profitable, and ready for large-scale distribution. That is what highly refined food marketing looks like when viewed from inside the boardroom. But a legal label is not the same as laboratory purity. And pink color is not the same as a certificate of analysis. The 4 brands on the clean list made another choice in how they operate. They chose verifiable transparency over a romantic story. They gave shoppers numbers instead of polished origin language. They allowed the lab results to speak instead of letting the marketing department speak for them. And what you have just seen, one brand at a time, is the kind of information this industry usually keeps scattered and hard for shoppers to connect. That gap in information has now shifted in your favor. You are harder to sell with the story on the front of the bag because you now know to look for the testing behind it. Many shoppers will continue paying for the color and the language. You are no longer shopping like most consumers.